All right, I'm here with Lynn Hines, and we are going through a student growth plan. So we have been looking at a lot of diagnostic testing and screeners. She's got her binder here with us, which has all of the assessments and diagnostic tests that we have administered. And we have a Google form, which I will put into my video so that you can see it or send a copy to with you guys. But we have gone through. We did Olivia, a student of Olivia in the past, and we got through the part of the demographic information and the reader engagement, and this is broken up into 4 different parts. And we got to the phonics and phonemic awareness, and we administered several different diagnostic tests and screeners for that. And now we're analyzing that data, and hopefully at the end of our coaching conversation today, as we work through all of the questionnaire, we will be able to write a SMART goal and have some goals for intervention with the kiddos. So especially with Olivia. So Olivia's our one that we're working on today. And you'll see that Mrs. Hines has her packet of all of Olivia's information that is included in there. So under the reader engagement, we did a parent inventory and a student survey about readers' interest. And we included that information, and our interpretation from that, you want to just scroll down to the interpretation? Mm-hmm. Our interpretation was that she needs consistent one-to-one correspondence with words and to use visual letter clues to decode words instead of solely relying on picture clues. And the reason we had that is because she was not tracking and she just was making up words when she came to unknown words. For fluency, Olivia had a running record at a level A. And what we have discovered is with the level A, B, and C, we did a running record with her. Those don't really have a fluency goal, and I double checked with my administrator as well on that. So we wouldn't really have an applicable fluency for that, but we did kind of say that she needs to be tracking and following along with a one-to-one correspondence. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
She uses picture clues, though, as her main guide to tell the story.
Mm-hmm. And does not automatically recognize sight words.
Okay. And so our identified areas of growth for fluency was to increase her sight word identification. So that was all what we covered the last meeting, and so today we are now on the phonics and phonemic awareness analysis, and we administer the QSI, the fast accuracy, the PASI, and the sight words, and the OCELA, which is a Stanine for writing of words. And that's it. All of those, we used all those diagnostic or screeners to inform us in our decision. So we're looking at all of those components as we make our observations on Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so I have all the scores,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know, like when the PASI, because she meets with Britt, she does skill 2.1, but I don't know what that entails,
skill 2? Okay.
What she's exactly working on.
Okay, so we want to look up what PASI's skill 2.1 is. And I might not. Okay, so skill 2 is phrases and sentences.
So what would that consist of?
Words and phrases in simple sentences and deletion and addition of sentences. So just so we're really at low level. That's
Mm-hmm.
a readiness skill. It's not even into the phonological awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So identifying simple sentences and the count in there, and like taking one word out.
Okay.
Or adding a word. What would be
Okay.
the new sentence? Which is really before kindergarten level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you want me to write that on there?
I would maybe write that's a readiness skill for
Okay.
kindergarten, just so that we have down so that we know where she is in comparison to her peers. Okay.
I spelled that right. Okay.
Okay, and then we have a running record accuracy, which is at an 85% on a level A, which is the lowest level of a basic guided reader. And Lynn has gone ahead and filled in all of this information.
So her sight words, the pre-primer and primer Dolch, which is 92 words total, she only got 13
Okay.
of the 92, and I'm seeing within the classroom, even though some of our words align and some don't, with the Journey sight words with the Dolch, she's not retaining the words that, like, she might know a few words from that week,
Mm-hmm.
but the next week she won't necessarily
Retain
retain
them.
it. And even ones that she knew consistently a few weeks ago, she's not retaining now.
Okay. Okay. So she's built up to 13. She started out at how many of recognized at the beginning of the year? Do you think?
0. She
Zero.
didn't even know letters
0.
and letter sounds.
Okay. And how many words do you think you've covered over this last?
Well, for Journeys, we do 88 words.
88 words
Total.
total,
Mhm.
and you're more than halfway. You're almost at the
Mhm.
end.
Yeah.
So you probably,
one more module.
so you
or
probably, yeah. So you've probably done about 60 to 70 already.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's only retained 13. Okay.
Mhm.
That's good information. And then on the OCLA, and the OCLA is a diagnostic test that is this the sentence writing one?
Yeah, it's the,
Okay.
look at hers. It's both.
It's it's both a sentence right, they dictate a sentence and then they write it, and then also how many words she can write in 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's how many she could write on her own.
Okay.
And then this is once I started prompting her, like, do you know the word see? Do you know
Okay.
to, can? She
Okay.
did pretty, and those were our very first sight words. So
Okay.
those ones she's retained, but
Okay.
it's like we're very,
And how
very
many
basic.
did she get to?
10 total
10,
in 10
10.
minutes.
10 in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay.
She's, at the time we did the test, she was 6 years,
Okay.
0 months. So
Okay.
she scored stay 9.4.
Stay 9 for, and that's a diagnostic test that gives you a stay 9 for each testing.
And then the sentence was, I can see the red boat that we are going to have a ride in.
Okay.
And so I read that slowly, and then you could see she can get some of the first sounds.
Okay. Yeah, it looks to me like she got initial sounds, but when it moved past initial sounds, she had a difficulty time
And
of doing that.
not separating her
Yeah,
words in her writing.
She wrote ISKRB for I can see the red boat.
And so she got 8, and the stay 9
And a
was
3. And what is the average for kindergarten on these two? Do you know?
I don't know
Okay.
what the, we just were told
Yeah.
how to score them, but not what the general
Okay.
averages. I know I've got everywhere from kids writing at a 2nd grade level. I have 2 very high.
What was your
so-
average, do you say, compared to their
Um,
peers of kids on these stay 9s? Where would they would be testing out at?
Austin, I'd say. So Austin would be comparable. So he's a stay 9.4, so she falls within that range. He got 28,
28 words.
Mhm.
And on the writing of
Ellen,
sentence,
30
a 30 and a stay 9 of 4, and
4.
she was at a stay 9 of 3.
with
Okay.
a score of 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see where.
Yeah. Or other kids are able to at least come up with more than one sound for the words.
And then like even he's got more sight words, but even
Yeah.
fish, shark.
Yeah. Okay. Move beyond even the words that were taught to him.
Yeah, and then
Directly
like
each week.
sight words he has
30.
so about 68.
And he's the average student in your classroom?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Okay. So based on all of that, then we want to list what we feel like Olivia's strengths are when it comes to phonological awareness
So I
or
put
phonics.
she demonstrates letter to sound correspondence, which at the beginning of the
Mhm.
year she didn't even know how to write her name
Mhm.
correctly. She's able to hear the sounds and CVC words. and has some basic sight words,
Mm-hmm.
but beyond that,
I would address this too. Onset sound seems to be a strength for her. I mean, or how do you feel? Don't you think that she's
Mhm.
able, what she's displaying based on her
Yes.
student work is that onset sounds are a strength for her. And I think if we look under her FAST scores for onset sounds, we will probably see that her onset sounds are pretty good. But let's double check the data as well.
got it here.
You got it there?
So she
What's
got 16. 16 was the highest you could get.
Okay, so she's mastered onset sounds, so
Mhm.
that's huge. Okay.
Her letter sound she got 19, which was below, but that is just
Yeah.
her rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
In segmenting, she got 33, which was above the benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
And nonsense, she got below the benchmark.
That's kind of shocking, that 33 on the word segmenting, because what her intervention is with the title teacher, and she's got her at a low skill of sentence reading for that. That does not quite compare. So I'm kind of wondering why that's different.
In the past, I know they'd have to test out of that skill before they could move on, but I almost wonder if
Yeah.
that's an area that is a hole, but is that something where we need to focus, like, should
Yeah,
we be moving on to a higher
Well,
skill? Where
and
she's-
based on some of that, I'm glad you're saying that, because based on some 95% research readiness, if they don't pass them after a certain amount of time, we should move on. So maybe you and I should sit down with Britt and talk about that as
Okay.
well, because if she's displaying that onset sound and that segmenting, you'll still review that sentence breakdown.
Mhm.
So we probably want to move her on to those phonological skills.
Okay. So should I list that in here?
That might be under our recommendation or our interpretation.
Okay, so
Okay.
I put her observation. She demonstrates the letter sound correspondent, able to hear some letter sounds in CVC words. Sight word knowledge is very low at 14% accuracy, and I just did that based on the Dolch. And the classroom writing is not a preferred activity for her, and she will often say, "I can't do it." She is able to display onset sound knowledge.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds good. So our interpretation, or Lynn's interpretation, based on the data, is
But she looks to the picture for clues, does not sound out the words, and that's even what I still see in our small groups. She'll just guess. She doesn't even try to, she'll know the letter, but she won't even try to sound it out.
even after a lot of time with intervention and in the classroom, small group instruction. How many times do you pull her for small group instruction?
Every day.
Every day.
Mhm.
She's one of your groups that's every day. Okay.
And then with writing, she's able to sound out CVC words, but more difficult words, she usually will only write the initial sound.
And which is she's displaying in her assessments as well.
And then sight words are an area she struggles in.
Okay. So, based on that,
Should I put and retention?
yeah. So based on that, what is our interpretation for, or your interpretation of what skills she needs to work on when it comes to phonological awareness?
Well, she definitely has. She can sound out the words if I sit with her and break them down for her, but on her own, she's not using any decoding
Okay.
skills.
So tell me. So she's able to identify like that first sound, but if it going on from there, she's not looking past that onset sound when
No.
she's writing or when she's reading.
Mm-hmm.
Is she using one-to-one correspondence to
Yes.
identify that?
At the beginning of the year, she wasn't. Now
Okay.
she is.
So when she comes to an unknown word, she just looks at the picture to make an adjustment and doesn't rely on those
And
things.
and the books that she's at with our small group are very predictable, repetitive sentences. So she picks up on that
Okay.
very well.
So she's used to the
And
pattern.
then she'll just quickly guess, and she's very confident. It's not that she thinks she's wrong or anything. It could be I see the flower, and she might say, I see the bird, because there's a bird in the picture.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's right, and I'll even say, go back and look at it. And what letter is that? And she'll tell me the letter, what sound does it make? And then, okay, let's sound it out, and she'll go, flower. and then she guesses a little bit, but
And she's
it's a
able to maybe
total-
get it from the picture and the
Mhm.
onset sound.
but I have to sit there and instruct
Instruct her
it
to
to
do
it.
that.
Mhm.
So do you, so we want her to move to starting to do that more with automaticity, right?
Yes.
Would you agree that that's what we
Mhm.
want her to do, is
Yeah.
to when she comes to an unknown word, is not to guess, but to look at the first onset sound and then maybe look through the word.
Mhm.
So maybe when you are in small group reading, guided reading,
Mhm.
a real reward, I don't know, maybe what do you think would make her start to look more at that first letter, that onset sound, and
I
look
always wonder if I cover up the pictures, just having paper over it. I've
like
done that
a
with
sticky note,
I've done that with students in the past, and that
so
seems
that
to
they
work.
focus on the words first.
And then if she doesn't know, then we can use that strategy of looking
Yeah.
to the picture.
I
To
like that
help
idea.
us.
So like
Okay.
putting a Post-it note over the
Mhm.
picture, and then after she's looked at it, she knows that it's starting with that first letter of. Then you uncover the picture and see if she can come up with it. That would be a really good
Okay.
strategy. I love that idea. You're brilliant.
I don't know about that, but I'm working through this here. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
when
we
she
want-
comes to an unknown word, to look at the initial.
And so you're gonna
Letter.
have to do some prediction of which words she's going to have difficulty with when you're doing your guided reading. So
do
your
the
prep,
story. So like
Yeah.
today's, this is just our vocab reader.
yep,
Um,
so she's using the vocabulary reader from Journeys.
like we did, she could get mom sounded out
Mhm.
and all that, but then right here she didn't even look. It was dirt.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what the picture shows. She's
Mhm.
got a picture of my mom can dig the soil. She just said dirt all the way. So I do like that idea. Let's cover up the picture and then have her identify that at
Okay.
least. Well, she might not be able to read this because OI is very
Yes.
complex.
Oh yeah, we're not
Um,
even into that.
Yeah. So, but if she even got s, and then maybe she had some background into that, she might be able to get it. You might still have to teach that word, but this would be, you could predict which word she's going to have trouble
Okay.
with.
So should I put that as an area of growth? That
I would just say, yeah, that we want her to start. I mean, that might be in our summary, our goals.
okay.
But we want to say that we want her to start looking at least at the onset sound before she makes a prediction on what the word is based,
Okay.
and not just use her picture clues. As
Okay.
long as you agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So in each one of our sections, we make an interpretation, and then we're going to be looking at those interpretations, and we'll make 2 SMART goals at the end, to which we want to work on with these students, so that we don't want to be overwhelming, even though we probably could have 4. We want to limit ourselves, and then as we move and progress on those, then we will identify maybe some new areas to work on. But this will be an ongoing document. Okay, so now we're on comprehension analysis.